Stage 3 for all my weebs and anime fans. Stage Select is finally gonna bring up an anime. So we watched, all of us here watched a show called Mob Psycho 100, made by the creator of One Punch Man. I believe it came out before One Punch Man, although I could be wrong about that. It's only 2 seasons. It's 2 seasons long. It's just one and done. After 2 seasons, you're finished with it. It's in a very adorable style. I kind of want to hear you guys' opinion on what you thought of it. I want to talk maybe a minute or two without spoiling anything, so that listeners who are like, "Oh, this sounds cool," can bounce out and watch it themselves, which I would highly recommend. But I was very drawn to this to bring it up on the podcast because I think all of us watch a lot of animes that kind of you can slide under the rug, that are sort of forgettable, that are like, okay, this was, fine, whatever. Mob Psycho 100, I don't know if it was something with me, or if it was just such a really well done shonen, but it kind of like sneakily shoehorned its way maybe into my top 10, which is hard to do after 30 years of watching animes. So I mean, before I talk about what I thought about it, without any spoilers for a minute or so, what did you guys think? What do you guys think about Mob Psycho 100?
Excellent recommendation. You were actually the one that actually told me about it, and I was like, all right, you know what? Let me give it a shot because
you got us into this, man.
Yeah, man. It's an awesome show, dude. And I do like what Chris said, man. Watch it, guys. It's something pretty amazing. I'm not gonna lie. Something that I was kind of going in like, okay, it might be kind of cheesy, whatever. But nah, man, it got me into the intro. Got me, dude. I was like, yo, what is this, dude?
Dude, the intro's so good.
Goodness, man. I was tripping, bro. But after that, I was like, you know what? The first episode got me hooked. After that, too, the character development, it's all like it just meshed well, dude. And you get everything, man. You get your comedy reliefs there. You get like some deep moments. Like you get everything, man. It's actually a pretty well done show for 2 seasons. I wish there was a third one, to be honest, but 2 seasons is actually sufficient enough.
Yeah, that was my only concern, man. It's too short, and I don't know. I talked to you about the world building, but I'm gonna dive into that later. But overall, man, it was unexpected because it was really good. I went in no expectations. I laughed. I was hype. I was emotional. I was sad sometimes. So it's a roller coaster, man. And the character development is good. And I don't know, man. It was something about it. I believe it was the fact that it was such a simple concept in a way at the beginning, but then you start like peeling this, of course, layers of deepness into Mob's character, and not only because of him, but because of his antagonist. So there was a lot of growth, episode by episode with Mob, which I truly love in anime stories. Like if you're gonna bring me an anime, usually what hooks me it's character development, and I believe this one was one of the good ones, man. It was really good character development in this one.
So I think in terms of emotional roller coaster, we can't really approach that ride without spoilers. So if you're gonna watch it, which we definitely recommend, whether you continue listening or you don't, spoilers are ahead, so be ready for that. That being said, I want to talk about the ending of the show, and I want to kind of talk about the build up there. So the show, we're introduced with Reigen, who isn't actually psychic. He has no psychic powers. If you're still watching and you haven't watched the show yet and didn't tune out for spoilers, Mob is a psychic. Mob is a psychic with very super telekinetic powers. Seems to be the best on the planet as far as I can tell, at least in their universe. But the story rotates around him training under someone who's only pretending to be psychic, who is Reigen. And that's a lot of the comedy aspects, is that, his master doesn't really have powers, but the main character that we're following is the strongest character in the entire universe.
Yeah.
But he's training under someone who has no powers at all. And then we get into, so that's the bit of the comedy bit. But then as it gets a little bit more real, Mob's brother doesn't have powers, and he's a good brother, and there's no like very cliche, I'm mad that my brother has powers. It's not cliche at all. It's very well written, where he loves his brother, but he's just a little bit jealous that he doesn't quite have those powers. And then it gets into whenever other people start realizing that Mob has powers, he doesn't really care because he just wants girls to like him. and he's sort of been well tuned to not use his powers for anything outside of killing spirits. But before we get into the ending, because it's 2 seasons, but that's still a good amount of episodes. Did anything stand out to you guys? Any episodes, any moments? I know you guys talked about laughing, feeling emotional. We're in spoiler territory, baby. So, what happened in Mob Psycho that made you feel some type of way?
I think it was, to me, it was his quest to be normal.
Yeah.
Which was really, really weird. You got pretty much the most powerful guy and the whole story, which is freaking Mob. It's like overpowered being with psychic powers. But his quest was not to rely on those powers. It was, I want to be normal, and I lack on those tools to be normal. So I'm struggling with this. So I'm gonna work on these weaknesses instead of just relying on my strengths. And if you notice, all the other villains were opposite. They were all relying on their strengths and not working on their weaknesses. So there was pretty much of a contradiction within the world. I believe Dimple, which was the little psychic that Mob has at all time, this little spirit, was confused about Mob. I mean, you can be a freaking god. What's going on? Like, why are you using these powers? But it's like, no, I cannot hurt humans. I cannot be like this. I gotta be better. And I believe the whole tone of this series was set up with that first fight with Teru. Teru, basically
the blonde kid, right?
Yeah. Basically that fight to me was the meaning of what Mob was going to be. It was like pretty much a dualism between I use these powers to be popular and have all the things that you lack, and Mob was I refuse to use these powers because we work on my weaknesses to overcome my hurdles. I just recline on my powers and see everything's gonna be fine, and just not worry about anything else anymore. So,
I actually want to use that, Will, really quick, if you don't mind. I actually want to use that because I think one of the reasons that I liked it so much is it made me feel almost like a kid watching shonens, which shonens, if for whatever reason you don't know, are like teenagers with powers and they go to school and then they have powers, and very classic anime style. So like Will was saying right now, Mob never really wants to use his powers, but they're sort of controlled emotionally. And what is very cool, especially if you're 14 or 30 and you feel like you're 14, there's a power meter that happens if he gets a little bit upset. Like he starts at 0% and it shows that he's at 0%, and then somebody makes him mad, and the screen cuts away from everything and it goes from 0% to 9% or 11%, 12%. And when he gets to 100, then he goes psycho. But go ahead, Will. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, I'm actually going to wrap it up. Basically, and I'm going to let Manny say his opinion, but basically, that was it. I find it really interesting that the fact that he was this humble guy, trying to overcome these hurdles, and he joining the strength people so he can become stronger.
The regular jocks, the normal jocks,
Because he could destroy anybody with his psychic power, but he didn't want to do that. He just wanted to be normal and work on his weaknesses. So to me, was really fun to watch his growth through that perspective. Go ahead, Manny. What do you think about it?
I like, honestly, what really stood out to me was, I mean, obviously, Mob wanting to be normal, but I think what really stood out to me was the relationship between him and Reagan. Even though Reagan was, he doesn't have powers, he's a bit of I guess you could say he's a con man, but in a way, I was kind of secretly hoping for Reagan to somewhat be powers? As equals to him.
Oh.
And just the fact, I just started laughing because this mofo just plays everything off like he actually sees it and stuff, but it's just like dumb luck, man. And I just laughed because like this dude, man, like he's just so casual with it. Like, and if he, like my favorite part when Mob introduced him to Dimple and he really couldn't see him and he calls him, I know you can't see me because you're a con man. He's like, no, I think he must be too weak because I can't sense him or whatever. And that just had me dying, bro. But I just like the relationship between him and Mob because even though he is technically using him, but he teaches him like a lot of like valuable lessons like towards life and all that stuff, and like actually use your powers for good and not like for like how his Mob's rival did it too. So like it's just that's what really like got me into that because I was like, wow, dude, like you're such a crappy person, but like, at the same time you're giving him like very good moral values, which kind of progresses later on too. And I was like, wow, I'm digging this guy a lot.
Yeah, on that same frame of thought about using his powers, I don't know if you guys noticed, but basically he was forced to use them at some point. He didn't want to fight humans, but it was either that or protecting his family. I believe his brother was basically that link that he had with with the human world. It was like, I gotta protect my little brother. So he was forced to use those abilities against humans, and he was always dangling between that moral code that Reagan established with him. You should not use your powers to attack human, and he wanted to respect that because his sensei told him that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, I mean, up to that point, can I tolerate my family and my friends being tortured or attacked? So it puts you things into perspective. A lot of moments with Mob, which was really interesting storytelling for me. I mean, I did like that he was put on the spot. I mean, he was powerful, yes, and you kind of knew this guy's gonna win this fight. But I believe it wasn't all about that. It was mostly about his journey and his decision on how to do that.
Yeah.
I think I would say definitely, just with any vague details or anything that we've said here, if you like anime, or if you watched, if you like One Punch Man especially, this is in the same vein of entertaining. But
it's the same guy, right?
It's the same guy, I think. Yeah. So as far as I know, he's done 2 animes, One Punch Man and Mob Psycho. I think he might have stopped making Mob Psycho to make
One Punch
to continue with One Punch, because One Punch just took off so much.
That took off real quick, bro. Like Fall Guys, man. That sucker just came out overnight. I was like, what the heck is this dog? Like,
freaking
this is dope,
Fall
dude.
Guys, man.
But that's the kind of the one thing that I wanted to talk about, because I heard maybe differential opinions as we sort of crossed a small discussion about it at work. Is I don't know if we all agree about the ending, and we've been pretty decent about dancing around spoilers, but this one, I mean, I guess it doesn't really hurt that much. But so I personally liked the ending. I thought it was wrapped up sort of. It made me feel like episode 1 again. I thought it was adorable. I thought it fit the style of the show. I'm just going to go ahead and say it, because if not, it'll be too vague for people who don't care to watch it anyway. At the end of the show, all of Mob's enemies, or at least the ones that are still alive or whatever, they actually end up wanting and training under Reagan, who at this time still has no powers. So 2 seasons in, and all of Mob's biggest villains, people that tried to kill him, potentially his family, the show ends with them wanting to train under Reagan Urataka, or whatever his name is, which I thought was beautiful. Right. I thought it was a really good sentiment. I thought it really showed, like power scaling and all that aside, no Dragon Ball nonsense. They made it very down to earth. It's very funny. I liked it. I thought hopefully he didn't just shoehorn it for One Punch Man, but even if he did, I thought it was very well written. Yeah. What did you guys think?
I don't know, man. I felt like it could have been a little bit more. They could have pulled off a couple more seasons, because like I felt like they could still dial more into the story, especially with that villain, the I forget the guy who possessed the chicken earlier when Reagan went to go do that test.
Yes, we had this discussion. That's right. I almost forget about that.
Yeah, dude, right. He just like disappeared out of nowhere, man. Like, okay, you sure you want to do this? Well, at the end, just be sure you know what you're doing. And he just like literally like ghosts, and he's out. And I'm like,
the dude like throws him into the spirit world or whatever, like man. Dumb powerful.
He was an influential part when Mob makes the decision to save everybody in a way. Like he breaks his change. So seeing him disappear, I believe Manny was telling me about this, was kind of underwhelming. Like I wanted to know more about that guy, and I wanted to become maybe possibly not necessarily an enemy, but at least a rival for Mob, so he could learn more. Like I believe they could actually make more stories based on that.
Yeah, I think it was just packaged in a bow, because maybe it was because of One Punch Man, but to me, it felt incomplete still. Like they needed at least one more season to like actually finish it off on a good note. But I mean, that's just me though. But show great overall, but ending, I felt like it could have gone a little bit more, to be honest.
Yeah, sorry about that. I do agree with Manny on that part, and to me, the world building. I believe that compared to other shonen series, this was a little bit, again, and it's because it was too short. It was good. It was a good product with a lot of potential. I mean, it was amazing until the end, and I liked the end. Just like you, Chris, I did like the end. I just felt that there was something that could be explained more and maybe deserve like another season. and that's why I felt the world was so small, because I believe they could just find more espers on other countries, or somebody else in the world, not just that one that was trying to become super powerful, because he was really powerful himself. But I noticed that they just leave it like that. And again, it's not a bad thing. I don't mind a short anime that has a good story. It's just that I believe this story deserves a little bit more. Maybe like one. I'm not asking for 20 seasons. I'm not asking for One Piece too, but at least a couple of more could not hurt.
I think with the success of One Punch Man, that he may have purposely left it like open ended. He could easily, with that ending, we could get season 3 tomorrow, and it would be fine. Didn't I think Mob Psycho was like 2016 or 2017 or something, wasn't it? It's like not old.
Yeah, it's yeah. I think it's like almost 4 years old. I want to say, yeah.
We could get season 3 in 2 years, and it could pick up just fine.
Hopefully, but yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, yeah, that, like, I agree. Like the ending, I mean, it's a good ending, man. But like to me, they just, I just needed a little bit more. Like I was kind of let down a little bit. But
Yeah,
I mean,
2016.
yeah, that's crazy.
So, not that long ago, man. But it was good. Unless you guys have anything else to say, I definitely think,
It says here that it's on HBO Max.
Oh,
Bruh.
You mean
There
to
you
tell
go.
me I've been watching it on this crappy ass?
because you owned the DVDs already, Manny.
Dude, that's crazy. You saw it. I mean, I don't know if this is true. I'll look around later, but it's right away. It says on the website, yeah, Mob Psycho 100 HBO Max. So if you have HBO Max, check it out. Maybe it's there.
So keep watching, guys, because we definitely have. I mean, it seems like we find like these weird sort of gem animes more often than not. We have others that we'll talk about in the future.